If you are waiting for them to change their mind, you are waiting for a ghost. You think if you just pull back a little bit, if you just detach your energy, they will finally wake up and realize what they had. But here's the thing, they aren't asleep, they are running. And when you stop chasing, you don't get the closure you want. You get their panic. You see the shift in their eyes, the sudden tightening of their jaw, the way they look at you like you just changed the rules of a game they didn't know they were playing. You think you are finally setting a boundary, but to them, you just declared war. Listen, we don't experience the other person. We experience the meaning we give to their distance. There's a million things happening in their nervous system right now, and most of them you'll never notice. You see them pull away, and you think it's about you, but it's about the invisible architecture of their own survival. The avoidant mind is not designed to process intimacy the way you do. It is designed to detect engulfment. It is wired to scan the room for the moment they lose themselves. And when you, the super empath, finally decide to detach, to pull your massive, all-consuming love back into your own center, their brain doesn't see a healthy boundary. Their brain sees the floor dropping out. So what's behind the pull away? It's their state, their mental, their emotional state. It is not a calculated move to hurt you. It is a biological reflex to survive you. Now let me be honest with you. Most of you listening to this right now are using detachment as a strategy. You think you are letting go, but you are actually just holding your breath, waiting to see if they notice you're gone. That is not detachment. That is manipulation wrapped in a spiritual bow. True detachment is not a tactic to get them to come back. True detachment is the moment you no longer need them to regulate your own nervous system. It's the moment you realize that your worth is not tied to their ability to stay. There's 3 decisions you make every moment of your life. The first decision is what to focus on. The second decision is what it means. The third decision is what to do about it. When you are dealing with an avoidant partner, your focus is entirely on what they are doing. You focus on their silence. You focus on their delayed texts. You focus on the way they physically turn away when you ask for reassurance. And because you focus on their withdrawal, your energy goes there. You feel anxious. You feel abandoned. You feel unloved. But if you control what you focus on, you control your life. Both worlds exist. The external we can only influence, the internal we can control. If you shift your focus from their behavior to your own state, the entire dynamic changes. Let me say that again. If you focus on what you can't control, your energy goes there. If you control what you focus on, you control your life. Both worlds exist. The external we can only influence, the internal we can control. You want to know why the avoidant can't handle your detachment? Because your detachment breaks their foundational rule. The avoidant operates on a very specific set of immutables. Their rule is this: if I keep them at a distance, I am safe. If they chase me, I am wanted, but if they get too close, I am trapped. It is a perfectly balanced, deeply unconscious equation. But when you, the empath, suddenly stop chasing, when you actually pull your energy back and say, I am going to focus on myself now, you break the equation. They are no longer the one controlling the distance. You are. And to an avoidant, losing control of the distance feels exactly like losing control of their own identity. It's not cruelty, it's cowardice, it's not malice, it's mechanics, it's not indifference, it's overwhelm. Because here's what I know. The avoidant has spent their entire life building a fortress to protect a very fragile core. They convinced themselves they didn't need anyone. They built the walls high, they dug the moat deep, and they told themselves they liked being alone. But deep down, in the quiet moments before they fall asleep, they are terrified, they are unlovable. Then you come along, you are the super empath. You see right through the walls. You don't just love them, you understand them. You anticipate their needs before they even know they have them. You make them feel seen in a way that is both intoxicating and absolutely terrifying. For a while, it works. They let you in, they taste the intimacy. But then the terror sets in. The intimacy feels like a threat. Their nervous system starts screaming that they are going to be swallowed alive. So, they pull away, they deactivate, they go cold. And you, my friend, you panic. You think you did something wrong. You think you loved too hard. So you try to fix it. You chase. You over-explain. You try to pull them back into the light. And the more you chase, the more they run. It It is the oldest pattern in human psychology, the pursuer and the distancer, the push and the pull. But when you finally get tired, when you finally say enough is enough, when you decide to take your energy back and detach, you flip the script. Now you are the distancer, and they are the pursuer. But they don't know how to pursue. They don't have the tools. Their only tool for dealing with the terror of intimacy is to run. So when you run, they don't chase you with love. They chase you with panic. They act out. They pick fights. They do things specifically to get a reaction out of you. Because a negative reaction from you still proves that you are there. It proves they still have an impact on you. So what's behind the panic? It's the story, the invisible story they've been telling since they were 5 years old. The story that says, if I let someone truly know me, they will leave. Or worse, they will stay and they will destroy me. I began with anger. That fuel didn't last. I used to try and force people to change. I thought if I just pushed hard enough, if I just loved hard enough, I could break through their walls. But I was just feeding the pattern. I had no one in my corner. I figured out I was the corner. And I learned that you cannot outlove a nervous system. You can buy them the most beautiful gift in the world. A watch that costs 3 months of your salary, and if their nervous system feels trapped, they will still leave it on the counter and walk out the door. People don't pull away because they stop caring. They pull away because they care too much and don't know how to hold it. You see them stare at their phone for 10 minutes and send nothing, and you think they forgot you, but they're just paralyzed by the weight of your expectation. They are sitting there feeling the immense gravity of your love, and their brain is telling them it's too heavy to carry. This is where the hero's journey begins. Not for them, for you. Because your job is not to carry them across the threshold. Your job is to slay your own dragon. The dragon is the belief that your love is only valid if it is accepted. The dragon is the belief that you have to shrink yourself, or expand yourself, or contort yourself into the exact shape of their comfort zone in order to be worthy of connection. Think about the mechanics of mastery. Steph Curry takes 500 shots a day, 7 days a week, 15 plus years. 2 million shots, 3,600 makes. 10% of 1%. You fool no one. The avoidant has practiced pulling away for 20 years. You think a week of you being distant is going to rewire their nervous system? You think your sudden detachment is going to undo 2 decades of neurological conditioning? It's not going to happen overnight. You have to respect the pattern. You have to respect the time it took to build the wall, and you have to respect the time it will take to dismantle it. But that's not the real point. The real point is that while they are dismantling their wall, you have to build your own foundation. You cannot wait for them to be ready to hold you. You have to be ready to hold yourself. So what's behind the empathy? It's the wound, the unhealed wound that thinks it can fix someone else to fix itself. The super empath didn't learn to be empathetic because they were just naturally nice. They learned to be empathetic because it was a survival strategy. They learned to read the room. They learned to absorb the emotions of their parents, their siblings, their environment, because if they could manage everyone else's feelings, they might stay safe. They might avoid the conflict. They might get a crumb of love. If you suffered as a kid, you might still carry it. Here's what happens when you meet who you are now and look back at the kid. You realize it's been a handbook of survival in disguise. The fact that you had to manage your parents' moods means as an adult you have an unparalleled radar for human pain. The fact that you were never held means you know exactly how to hold space for others, but now you must learn to hold yourself. The fact that you were overwhelmed by the world means you have the capacity to heal it, but only if you stop bleeding out. For people who do not know how to apply a tourniquet, it's like a psychological superposition you need to hold in the head at the same time. They love you and they are terrified of you. Both are true. They want the intimacy and they want to run from it. Both are true. You have to stop trying to resolve the contradiction for them. You have to let them sit in their own contradiction while you stand firmly in your own clarity. Now listen to me carefully. When you detach, you must do it from a place of power, not a place of punishment. If you detach to teach them a lesson, they will feel it. They will feel the passive aggression radiating off you. They will feel the conditional nature of your love. And it will confirm their deepest fear that love is just a transaction. True detachment is unconditional. It means you love them, you wish them well, but you are no longer willing to participate in a dynamic that destroys your own peace. It's not a breakup, it's a boundary. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. You have to understand the trip from unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence to conscious competence to unconscious competence. Right now, you are probably in conscious competence. You are hyper aware of every move they make. You are analyzing every text, every sigh, every shift in posture. It is exhausting. You are consciously trying to manage the relationship. The goal is to get to unconscious competence, where your boundaries are so deeply wired into your identity that you don't even have to think about them. You just naturally walk away from what doesn't serve you. You don't argue. You don't explain. You just redirect your energy. A Spitfire's propeller. If you're trying to stop the avoidant from pulling away, you can't run from your own boundaries. You can't swat the pest in the garden by chasing it. You have to change the environment. You have to become the garden. You have to cultivate a life that is so rich, so full, so deeply connected to your own purpose, that their presence is a beautiful addition, not the entire foundation. When you become the garden, they either come in and tend to it with you, or they stay outside and watch it bloom. Either way, the garden grows. But you have to be careful not to overcorrect. You think I'm pelting with the bathwater and the baby. You cut them off completely instead of just setting a boundary. You block their number, you throw away their things, you make a massive dramatic exit. That is not detachment. That is a trauma response. That is the empath acting out of the exact same fear of abandonment that the avoidant is acting out of. You are just expressing it differently. They express it by shrinking away. You express it by blowing it up. Love without boundaries isn't love. It's a hostage situation. You think you're giving them your heart, but you're actually giving them the bill for your unhealed childhood, and eventually they just walk out of the restaurant. You have to find the middle path. The path of the immovable center. When they pull away, you do not pull away in retaliation. You just stay centered. You keep your focus on your own life. You go to the gym. You read the book. You call your friend. You do the work. You do not sit by the phone waiting for them to return. Because if you sit by the phone, you are still giving them the power. You are still letting their behavior dictate your state. I believe this. The fastest way to change a relationship is to change yourself. Not to change yourself for them, to change yourself for you. When you shift your state, when you raise your own standards, when you decide that you are no longer willing to accept crumbs, the entire dynamic shifts. They will feel it. They might not understand it, but they will feel it. And they will have a choice. They can step up to meet you at this new level, or they can fall away. And I know I'm right about this. The ones who fall away were never meant to stay. They were just meant to teach you how to stand your ground. So what do I mean by that? I mean that every time they pull away, it is an invitation. An invitation for you to practice your own self-soothing. An invitation for you to prove to yourself that you will not abandon yourself just because they abandoned the moment. Every time you feel the urge to chase them, and you choose to sit with your own discomfort instead, you are rewiring your own brain. You are building the muscle of self-trust. Quality of life is the quality of your emotions. If your emotional state is entirely dependent on whether an avoidant person decides to text you back, you are living in a prison. You have handed them the keys to your nervous system. You have to take the keys back. You have to decide that your joy, your peace, your sense of worth are non-negotiable. They are not up for debate. They are not subject to their mood swings. Here's the truth. The avoidant cannot handle your detachment because it forces them to look at their own shadows. When you are chasing them, they get to be the victim. They get to feel pressured, overwhelmed, justified in their need to run. But when you stop chasing, when you detach with love and firmness, there is nowhere for them to hide. They are left alone with their own avoidance. They are left alone with the realization that they pushed away someone who truly saw them. And that realization is agonizing. It brings up all the shame they have been running from their entire life. So they will act out. They will try to provoke you. They will say cruel things. They will try to make you angry so that you become the bad guy. Because if you are the bad guy, they don't have to feel the guilt of their own avoidance. They don't have to face the pain of their own disconnection. Do not take the bait. When they throw the bait, you just look at it. You recognize it for what it is. A desperate attempt to regulate their own nervous system by dysregulating yours. You do not have to pick it up. You can just leave it on the floor. Now, what does that mean to you? It means you have to develop a level of emotional mastery that most people never even attempt. It means you have to become the meaning maker, not the meaning taker. You don't get to decide what their behavior means about you. You only get to decide what it means about them. Their withdrawal is about their capacity, not your worth. Their silence is about their fear, not your value. Wishing for confidence without competence is just delusion. You cannot just affirm your way out of this. You cannot stand in front of a mirror and say, I am worthy, I am worthy, I am worthy, while your nervous system is screaming in panic because they haven't texted you back. You have to build the competence. You have to build the actual, tangible evidence in your own life that you are okay on your own. You have to build a life that you love so much that their presence is a bonus, not a requirement. This is the drill. This is what you are going to do in the next 24 hours. It is non-negotiable. The next time you feel the urge to check on them, to text them, to see if they have reached out, you are going to stop. You are going to put your phone in another room. You are going to sit down, you are going to close your eyes, and you are going to ask yourself one question. What do I need right now? Not what do they need. Not what do I want them to feel. What do I need? Maybe you need to cry. Let yourself cry. Maybe you need to go for a run. Go for a run. Maybe you need to call a friend who actually sees you. Call them. But you are not going to reach out to the person who is triggering you. You are going to reach out to yourself. You are going to give yourself the care you are so desperately seeking from them. It will take 90 seconds. 90 seconds of sitting with the discomfort instead of trying to fix it with them. If you can do that, you will change the pattern. You will break the cycle. You will move from unconscious incompetence to conscious competence. Life happens for you, not to you. And it's your job to figure it out. Their avoidance is not happening to you. It is happening for you. It is showing you exactly where you are still abandoning yourself. It is showing you exactly where you still believe you have to earn love. It is showing you exactly where you need to build your own foundation. When you look at it that way, the avoidant is not your enemy. They are your greatest teacher. They are the mirror reflecting your own unhealed wounds back to you. And as painful as that is, it is also the greatest gift, because you cannot heal what you do not see. And they are showing you exactly what needs to be healed. But you have to be willing to do the work. You have to be willing to sit in the fire. You have to be willing to let the old version of you burn away so that the new version of you can emerge. The version of you that does not need to be saved and does not need to save anyone else. The version of you that just is whole, enough. You owe it to you to become who you really are. Not the version of yourself that fits into their comfort zone. Not the version of yourself that shrinks to make them feel safe. The full, expansive, unapologetic version of yourself. The version of yourself that knows your worth is not determined by someone else's ability to see it. The hero's journey doesn't end when you're dead. It continues in the lives you change. When you heal your own attachment wounds, when you learn to stand firmly in your own power, you change the lineage. You change the way your children will love. You change the way your friends will see you. You change the energy you bring into every room you walk into. You become a beacon for other people who are tired of playing the pursuer-distancer game. You show them that there is another way, a way of love that does not require the sacrifice of the self. So let them pull away. Let them run. Let them do whatever their nervous system requires them to do. You just keep walking your path. You keep tending your garden. You keep burning your boats. Because you are not going back to the shore of codependency. You are not going back to the shore of chasing people who do not want to be caught. You are sailing toward the island of your own self-mastery. And the view from there is extraordinary. You don't experience life. You experience the life you focus on. Focus on your own growth. Focus on your own peace. Focus on your own joy. And watch how the rest of your life arranges itself around that focus. Watch how the right people are drawn to you. Watch how the wrong people fall away. Watch how the universe conspires to meet you at the level of your own standards. Decide, right now. Decide that you are done playing small. Decide that you are done accepting less than you deserve Decide that you are the author of your own story, not a character in theirs. It's like you finally wake up. You finally realize that the love you were searching for in them was always sitting inside of you, waiting for you to come home. Welcome home.